Doc, I love my wife more than life itself, but I haven't been able to be a husband to her in years. These words, spoken in a near whisper, came from a man whose hands had once pulled people from burning buildings. A man whose shoulders were broad enough to carry the weight of the world. Yet now he slumped in his chair, defeated by a silent, intimate struggle. What if the secret to reigniting your strength as a man, your energy, your blood flow, even your erections, wasn't found in a little blue pill, but in a common spice you've probably ignored your whole life? A spice so potent that chewing it for just 60 seconds could awaken blood vessels that have been dormant for decades. It might sound impossible, but stay with me. Hello and welcome. If you are a man over 60 seeking real, natural ways to restore your power, you have found the right place. Before we uncover this simple secret, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your path to renewal begins with this one click, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. I'm Dr. Olivia Carson. For over 30 years, my life's mission has been to help men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim the confidence, performance, and intimacy that they thought was lost forever. We do it naturally, without relying on expensive medications that often provide only fleeting relief and a host of frustrating side effects. I'm not here to sell you hype or miracle cures. I'm here to give you what works, based on hard clinical science and proven in the lives of thousands of real men. Here's the paradox that keeps so many men trapped. They think their problem is testosterone. But what I have seen time and time again is that for most men over 60, the real issue isn't hormones, it's blood flow. More specifically, it's a lack of nitric oxide, the miracle molecule that your body tragically stops producing in abundance after age 60, yet desperately needs for healthy circulation and strong, lasting erections. That's why in this video, I'm going to reveal a simple 60-second habit, something you can start tomorrow morning, that uses a natural spice to kickstart your entire system, dramatically improve circulation, and unlock the hidden strength you thought was gone for good. We're just getting started. In a moment, I'll share the powerful, true story of a 67-year-old man who hadn't achieved a full, satisfying erection in 8 long years until he tried this. What happened next surprised even me. Let's dive into the truth most doctors will never tell you and discover how one simple spice could change everything. 1. Arthur's hidden strength returns at 67. I will never forget the first time Arthur walked into my office. At 67, he was a retired fire captain from Ohio, a man whose physical presence still commanded respect. His shoulders were broad, his handshake firm, a testament to a life of hard, physical work. But the way he sat down, the way his eyes avoided mine, told a different story. It was a story of a deep and heavy weight. He leaned forward, his voice barely audible, and the confession tumbled out. "Doc, it's been years. I feel like something essential inside me just shut down. It's gone." He hadn't had a full, firm erection in nearly a decade. He painted a picture of a life slowly losing its color. He loved his wife deeply, he assured me, but their physical intimacy had dwindled from passion to a gentle, platonic hug goodnight. Morning erections, that primal sign of a man's vitality. A distant memory, that fundamental sense of energy and power that had defined him his whole life, it was fading with each passing year, replaced by a constant, weary fatigue. He told me he'd tried the pills. Of course he had. At first they offered a spark, a fleeting chemical echo of what he used to feel. But over time, even the pills started to fail. and they brought with them a cruel list of side effects: pounding headaches that made him wince, flushed skin that made him feel self-conscious, and a growing, bitter sense of frustration. He was a prisoner to the medication schedule, the romance replaced by a clinical, timed procedure. "I just don't feel like a man anymore," he finally admitted, his eyes cast down towards his worn hands. That was the core of it, the shame. I have heard this confession before from hundreds of proud men just like Arthur, and every single time it reminds me why I have dedicated my life to this work. Because what Arthur was going through isn't rare. It is not something to be ashamed of, and it is most definitely not the end of the story. After reviewing his lab work and talking through his lifestyle, one thing became glaringly obvious. This wasn't a primary hormone problem. It was a catastrophic blood flow problem. His nitric oxide levels were dangerously low for a man his age, and his entire vascular system was sluggish and unresponsive. So I gave him a challenge, a simple one. No pills, no injections, no surgery, just a habit. Every morning, I instructed, I want you to take a small pinch of a natural spice, cayenne pepper, chew it for 60 seconds, then rinse your mouth with warm water. That's it. He looked at me as if I had 3 heads. Disbelief, then a flash of anger, and finally, weary resignation. Cayenne pepper? Doc, you've got to be kidding. The stuff I put on chili? But I explained the science, the mechanism, the reason why this simple act could succeed where expensive drugs had failed. He was skeptical, but he was also desperate. He agreed to try. 2 weeks later, he walked back into my office. The change was palpable. He didn't shuffle in, he strode. His shoulders were back, his chest was open, and a slow grin spread across his face, a grin that said everything before he even spoke a word. "Doc," he said, his voice strong and clear. "I woke up this morning feeling like I was 30 again." He told me about his wife and how she was smiling too. A genuine, joyful smile he hadn't seen in years. What happened inside Arthur's body wasn't magic. It was pure, beautiful biology. And it all started with that single fiery pinch of spice. Now, you're probably wondering, why cayenne? What is actually happening inside your body when you chew it for 60 seconds? The answer lies in a natural compound that most men completely overlook. And it's time you knew the full, unvarnished truth. Is this story resonating with you? Do you see a piece of your own struggle in Arthur's journey? If so, please take a moment to support us by liking this video and pressing 1 in the comments below. Let me know you're here and ready for a change. It helps us reach more men who need to hear that hope is not lost. 2. The spice that awakens circulation in 60 seconds. When I first told Arthur to chew cayenne pepper, he blinked twice, completely baffled. "You mean the stuff I sprinkle on my chili on game day?" I nodded. "The very same," I said. "But you're not going to sprinkle it. You're going to chew it, a small pinch, for just 60 seconds. He looked at me as if I'd asked him to walk across hot coals. And I get it. Cayenne is spicy. Its heat is its most famous characteristic. But what most men fail to realize is that hidden behind that fiery sensation lies a natural, restorative power that few ever learn to tap into. Cayenne pepper contains a remarkable compound called capsaicin. That's the element that gives it its signature fire. But far more importantly, capsaicin is a powerful natural vasodilator. That's a scientific term, but think of it this way. It's like a signal that tells your blood vessels to relax, to widen, to open up. Imagine a garden hose that has been kinked and twisted for years, only allowing a pathetic trickle of water to pass through. Capsaicin is like someone walking over and straightening out all the kinks at once. Suddenly, blood starts flowing freely and powerfully again. Life-giving oxygen floods your muscles. Your nerves, starved for blood, begin to fire properly. And yes, circulation to your entire lower body, to the places where it matters most, wakes up, and it wakes up fast. But here's where the method becomes truly fascinating and unique. When you chew cayenne, rather than just swallowing it in a capsule, you stimulate a very specific set of nerve endings in your mouth and throat called TRPV1 receptors. These receptors are like a direct hotline to your cardiovascular system. The very moment capsaicin hits them, it triggers a cascade reaction, signaling your body to begin releasing nitric oxide almost instantly. It is a profound biological response that is often faster and feels more natural than waiting for a medication to be digested and metabolized. This direct stimulation is precisely why chewing cayenne works so quickly and so effectively. You can actually feel it happening. Your body warms up from the inside out. Your heart rate may gently rise for a moment. Some men even report noticing a slight pleasant tingling in their hands or feet. That's not a side effect to be feared. That is the feeling of blood moving into areas where it hasn't been in a long time. This isn't just a theory. It's grounded in science. Numerous studies have confirmed that capsaicin helps lower blood pressure, improve the flexibility of our vascular walls, and increase microcirculation, the blood flow through the tiniest vessels, all of which directly support the mechanism for achieving stronger, longer-lasting erections. Now let me be clear, I am not saying this is a miracle cure that will work for everyone overnight, but I have personally witnessed men who were utterly convinced their intimate lives were over suddenly get their confidence, their vitality, and their manhood back. They did it not by adding more synthetic chemicals to their bodies, but by unlocking the incredible healing power that was already built into them. However, a word of caution. Not all cayenne is created equal, and if you're going to try this powerful method for yourself, there are a few critically important things you need to know, because using the wrong kind or the wrong amount can do more harm than good. Let me show you exactly how to use this tool safely and correctly. 3. The step-by-step guide to using cayenne safely. One of the biggest mistakes I see men make when they first hear about this method is running to their kitchen, grabbing whatever dusty old bottle of cayenne they can find from the back of the spice rack and taking a huge spoonful. Let me be clear, that is not the way, and it can be counterproductive. If you want real sustainable results, you have to approach this intelligently. When I instructed Arthur to chew cayenne, I gave him very specific, non-negotiable instructions. No capsules, no sauces. I told him to find pure organic cayenne powder. Capsules bypass the entire oral stimulation of the TRPV1 receptors, which is the key to the rapid nitric oxide release. And those spicy hot sauces, they are almost always loaded with vinegar, salt, sugar, and preservatives that can irritate your gut and dilute the powerful effects of the capsaicin. Find the sweet spot. You need to pay attention to the heat level, measured in Scoville heat units, SHU. I recommended he find a powder that is ideally between 30,000 to 50,000 SHU. This is the therapeutic sweet spot, strong enough to activate the receptors and trigger the nitric oxide release, but not so volcanically hot that it causes extreme discomfort or potential damage to the mucous membranes. Much of the generic cayenne in supermarkets is below this range, and specialty peppers can be far too high. The less is more method. This is a process of adaptation, not a test of toughness. Start. Tiny. Begin with a very small pinch, less than a quarter of a teaspoon. Think of an amount that just covers the very tip of your pinky finger. Placement is key. Place the powder directly on your tongue. Breathe. As you begin to chew slowly, breathe steadily and deeply through your nose. This calms the nervous system and makes managing the heat much easier. The 60-second ritual. Chew slowly for a full minute. You will feel a warmth rise in your chest and throat. This is a good sign. It's your body responding. Rinse and soothe. After 60 seconds, rinse your mouth thoroughly with warm water. Some men find a teaspoon of honey or a sip of milk afterwards helps to soothe any lingering burn. Listen to your body. If the sensation is overwhelming, don't try to be a hero and push through it. Stop, rinse, and try again the next day with an even smaller amount. And here's something most men are surprised to learn. After just a few days of consistency, that intense burn gets much easier. Your body's receptors adapt. What felt like a 5-alarm fire on day 1 becomes a pleasant, invigorating awakening by day 5. And with that adaptation come the results: better circulation, clearer thinking, warmer hands and feet, and, most importantly, more responsiveness and confidence in the bedroom. 4. Why your age is actually your biggest advantage. This might surprise you, but in all my years of clinical practice, I've observed something truly remarkable. Men over 60 often respond faster and more dramatically to natural circulation boosters like Cayenne than younger men do. I've seen it reflected in their blood pressure readings. I've seen it in their reported morning energy levels. And yes, I have seen it time and again in their bedroom performance. At first, even I questioned it. It seems counterintuitive, right? But after working with thousands of patients like Arthur, I've come to understand the simple, powerful reason why. The truth is, when a man's body has been running on empty for years, chronically poor circulation, critically low nitric oxide, sluggish blood flow, introducing a potent natural stimulant like capsaicin is like pouring high-octane fuel into a sputtering engine. The change isn't just noticeable, it's profound. The gap between where your body is and where it wants to be is so much bigger. And once you begin to bridge that gap, the results feel nothing short of miraculous. Your blood vessels may be stiffer than they were at 30. Your nitric oxide levels are certainly lower, but your body has a memory. It still remembers how to function properly. You are not broken, you are merely dormant. And once that blood starts moving with purpose again, once your entire vascular system gets that powerful signal to open up and breathe, everything begins to change. You sleep more deeply. You wake up and your hands and feet are warm for the first time in years. The fog in your mind begins to lift, and your confidence, that bedrock of your masculinity, starts returning. One morning at a time. That's why so many of my older patients tell me they feel young again after just a week or two of this simple habit. They aren't chasing their youth. They are simply, finally, giving their body the one thing it has been screaming for all along: real circulation, real blood flow, real oxygen. And there is no pill on earth that can fake that feeling. Conclusion: reclaiming what is yours. If there's one single, powerful message I want you to take away from this today, it's that real change is still possible. No matter your age, even after 60, 70, or 80, you do not have to settle for a life of declining energy, weak circulation, or the quiet, soul-crushing frustration of fading intimacy. Arthur didn't, and neither should you. We started with a single pinch of cayenne pepper. Something so simple, so ordinary, that most men overlook it entirely. But when it is used the right way, chewed slowly, intentionally, for just 60 seconds, it is transformed into something else entirely. It becomes a trigger, a powerful wake-up call for your blood vessels, a direct message to your body that it is time to come alive again. We talked about the science of why this works. We uncovered how nitric oxide, the very molecule that fuels erections and healthy blood flow, begins to vanish with age. And we learned how the capsaicin in Cayenne can reactivate that system through pure biology, not through chemical gimmicks. We broke down the safety protocols and the step-by-step method to ensure you can do this correctly. We looked at the surprising reason why men over 60, men just like you, are often the ones who benefit the most. Not because youth magically returns, but because circulation does. And with the return of circulation comes strength, mental clarity, confidence, and human connection. And Arthur? After just 14 days, he wasn't just performing better, he was living better. He had more energy to play with his grandkids. He was sleeping through the night. He and his wife were enjoying a deeper, more profound intimacy, and there was a quiet pride in his voice that was more powerful than any medication. That is what I want for you too, because no matter how long it's been, you are not done. Your strength is still there, dormant, waiting to be reawakened. Start small, stay consistent, trust the process. Your journey back to strength begins with your next decision. It's time to reclaim what's yours. If this video helped you or gave you a renewed sense of hope, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and most importantly, press 1 in the comments below. Your feedback means everything. It tells me that this message is getting through and helps me create better content for men just like you. You are not alone in this. And together we can make a real difference.